In Jamaica, the dream of owning a home is a powerful one, a symbol of stability and progress. But for decades, this dream has remained out of reach for countless citizens, caught in a housing crisis defined by soaring costs, limited availability, and the proliferation of informal settlements. This long-standing struggle has now become the central battleground in the upcoming general election. A political housing war has officially broken out. On one side, opposition leader Mark Golding offers 50,000 new homes for Jamaica's low-paid workers. In a swift counter-move, Prime Minister Andrew Holness hits back, putting 60,000 houses on the table. But these aren't just numbers. With the national housing deficit estimated to be over 100,000 units, both promises are ambitious, leaving voters to scrutinize the details and question who is more genuine. Kicking off the bidding war, Mark Golding presented a detailed housing strategy. He promised to build 50,000 new affordable houses within his first term, should he be elected in the September 2025 general election. His plan emphasizes a multi-pronged approach, focusing not just on construction, but also on providing serviced lots and upgrading existing informal settlements, aiming to create sustainable communities for those long priced out of the market. The incumbent Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, strategically delayed his party's manifesto, refusing to be outdone. In a classic political maneuver, he not only matched the promise but raised the stakes, vowing to build an even larger number, 60,000 houses, if his party is returned to power. This move immediately shifted the public discourse, turning the election into a high-stakes referendum on which leader can truly deliver. So how does Holness plan to achieve this? His core argument is simple. Highways mean more houses. The Jamaica Labour Party leader has argued that his ambitious plan will be made possible by unlocking new lands through the massive highway construction projects happening across the island. Addressing a mass rally in Montego Bay, Holness declared, "You see that highway we are building from Kingston going all the way around to Port Antonio? They looked at it and want to criticize it, but they can't criticize it. That highway has opened up new lands for development." To back his claim, Holness pointed to tangible evidence of demand. There are currently more than 8,000 housing applications already submitted along the new highway corridor in St. Thomas alone, a figure that underscores the desperation of homebuyers. He noted a similar surge in demand for the recently completed Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000 in Clarendon. "We've opened up new lands there for housing as well," Holness added, "and you are going to see a whole heap of housing come along that stretch in Clarendon." But with such massive promises on the table, the Jamaican people, both at home and in the diaspora, are left to wonder, are these plans realistic blueprints for the future, or just political castles in the sky? Turning to western Jamaica, Holness pointed to a new highway and alignment that he said will bypass Hopewell, Sandy Bay, and Lucia in Hanover, leading into Negril, which straddles the border with Westmoreland. According to Holness, this road is slated for construction following the completion of the Montego Bay Perimeter Road in St. James. The present roadway, no matter how you fix it, it is always going to give you trouble because it is too close to the sea. Climate change is a real thing that impacts our infrastructure, and so we are going to move the road inland. But as we move the road inland, we are also opening up and making accessible new lands along those roads in Hanover and Westmoreland, where the housing demands there are very high, stated Holness. This strategic retreat from the coast is a direct acknowledgement of a harsh reality. Rising sea levels and powerful storm surges make coastal infrastructure prohibitively expensive to maintain. Moving the main artery inland isn't just a logistics fix, it's an attempt to future-proof a vital economic corridor. But opening new lands raises critical questions about providing necessary support infrastructure like water, electricity, and schools for these new communities. Switching to St. Catherine, the JLP leader said the National Housing Trust, NHT, has been asked to coordinate a new master plan for the Greater Innswood area, a move that will bring 15,000 new houses onto the market. This target for St. Catherine hits the epicenter of Jamaica's urban housing crunch. For decades, demand around the Kingston metropolitan area has far outstripped supply. The NHT was established to address this, but has struggled to meet the needs of low-income earners. Analysts note that 15,000 units is significant, but a fraction of a national deficit estimated at over 100,000 homes. The core issue remains: can these units be delivered at a price point that aligns with average Jamaican wages? So the People's National Party comes with talk, but the Jamaica Labour Party comes with the substance needed to move Jamaica from poverty to prosperity. Stick with the better plan, the people who understand the issues and who have the competence for delivery, encouraged Holness, who also told cheering Labourites of a mortgage interest reduction program for some public sector workers. We will launch a 1 in 5 and a 2 in 10 program, so that teachers and nurses and members of the security forces working in the public sector can receive a 1% mortgage interest reduction after 5 years and a 2% interest reduction after 10 years, stated Holness. He pointed out that this will be in addition to the low interest rates on NHT loans. While appealing, a 1 or 2% reduction on an already low NHT rate may not be the game changer many need. Critics argue such programs primarily benefit those already on the cusp of homeownership, leaving behind the majority locked out by high property prices and stringent lending requirements. It's a policy that nibbles at the edges of a much larger affordability crisis. As one can see from the article above, Holness gave few details or timelines on his promised 60,000 houses. The examples he provided suggest a reliance on private developers building houses as new highways open up, from Portland to Kingston on the eastern tip of the island. Also, the highway from Hanover to Westmoreland on the western tip of the island. The only mention of the NHT housing is the 15,000 houses that the Prime Minister said is needed in St. Catherine. There are also no mention of affordable housing in the Prime Minister's housing policy, at least not in the Jamaican Observer news article, which this post is quoting. This lack of focus on affordability draws sharp criticism, especially compared to other Caribbean nations. In Barbados, the government has initiated projects with specific mandates for low-income housing, directly subsidizing construction to control the final sale price. The silence on this front from Holness is deafening. There have been several developments of housing along the new and recently built highways in Jamaica. In fact, thousands of houses are being built along the existing highways each year in Jamaica. The problem is that the prices of the houses being built is above what the ordinary Jamaicans can afford. The fundamental problem is the chasm between income and property values. With new 2-bedroom homes starting over 20 million Jamaican dollars, the math simply doesn't work for a teacher or a police officer. Even nurses are finding it difficult to purchase the houses currently being built along the highways in Jamaica. Hence, the Prime Minister would need to be more specific as to what he means when he said 60,000 new houses are to be built in Jamaica if he is re-elected as Prime Minister of Jamaica, because some foreign-owned private housing developer are just in Jamaica to make a quick profit. This profit-first model doesn't just price out locals, it creates a barrier for the diaspora. Many Jamaicans abroad dream of investing in property back home as a retirement plan or family base. But when the market is dominated by high-end developments, that dream becomes unattainable. It creates a disconnect where people who fuel the economy with remittances are priced out of its real estate sector. It would take direct government intervention, likely through the NHT or new public-private partnerships with strict affordability mandates, to have 60,000 affordable houses being built for Jamaica's lower to middle-income workers. Hence, it is yet to be seen whether the Prime Minister has fully thought out how he will fund the 60,000 new houses that he is promising, and more importantly, how he will ensure they are truly affordable. Or maybe the PM is just offering a higher number of houses than Mark Golding as an electioneering tactic, with not much substance behind it. This is a classic political strategy. Outbid your opponent on a key issue and leave the difficult details for later. Hopefully, we will hear more about this tonight in the leaders' debate. The Jamaican people deserve a clear, detailed, and realistic discussion on who has the better and more sound housing strategy going forwards.